This is all information. And so as I'm getting triggered and I'm having these responses that are trying to take me into this fear mode, that's not who I am, and I know that. So I reach for relief, and I tell you what, Christine and I knew that we had to shift the energy. We couldn't get out in nature to connect that way, so we just decided we'd take the early ferry, the first ferry of the day, to get back to the mainland and to get back to our home in Woodinville as I was flying home the next day. And it did shift the energy, and we got away from the social media and the fear and all that, and we had wonderful conversations. And oh my gosh, in fact, while we were on the ferry, we ended up, this man who worked there guiding the cars where to go, I don't know what his position is called, but anyway, he came up and approached us, and we had the most delightful conversation with this man. It went for a very long time. The ferry ride was over before we knew it, and he was like a messenger and an angel in so many ways, and so grateful. And that's the thing, when you can find your balance again, you get to have those experiences, and it's more playful and a lot more fun. And so we ended up getting to her house and enjoyed a wonderful Mexican meal that night with, of course, a couple margaritas, which is always good. And the next day I was leaving when she dropped me off at the airport, and I could not wait to get back to my family, because when these things happen, it's like you hold your loved ones and you tell them you love them, and you remind yourself, you remember what's really important in life, and that's this moment right here, right now, with my little Butch, my bulldog that I love so much, coming to play with me right now. These moments are the moments that we're living for, and not to have all of our thoughts go into something that we don't want to create over and over again. And when I get to the airport, I'm flying Southwest, which is becoming more and more popular because, you get your luggage free. You don't have to pay extra for that. And I don't travel lightly, but the line was unbelievable. I'm there an hour and 20 minutes before my flight. And the outdoor check was like 300 yards long, just filled with people. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go indoors to see if it was any better, and I got into the line. I saw the sign right away. It said end of line. I'm like, I'm getting here. I'm going to get in line. I have no idea how long it's going to take me, but I'm just going to trust this is all going to work out. And so I'm in the line, and people are just really agitated, and they're irritated. They can't believe it, and it is unbelievable. So the line for the check-in wrapped around a building and then came and serpentined several lanes before it went into the actual lanes in front of the ticket counter, and I had no idea how long it was going to take me to get to the ticket counter. And to drop my bag. That's all I needed to do. I already had my boarding pass. And so I had a trust, because I knew what I wanted to do was get on that first plane and get to my family, and I wanted to be back in Colorado. And I definitely didn't want to spend the afternoon at the airport in Seattle without my friend Christine there, So that didn't sound like any fun. So I kept holding that vision that I was going to be on that flight. And I get through the lane. When I come around the building, that's when I discover that there's this serpentine lines before you get to the one in front of the ticket counter. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I think I made the wrong choice. Maybe I should have, walked a half a mile and stood outdoors. And I'm going, well, do I go out there now? But then I give up my spot. And you start to weigh these things in your head. You're trying to figure it out with the logical mind and everything, and that doesn't always work so well. And so I was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be on that plane. And I've got to feel good in order to be on that plane, because if I give in to the negativity that's around me and the things that people are saying, then my vibration is going to dip, and I'll be waving goodbye to my plane. And so I got very clear on what I wanted, and the only way I could really distract myself thoroughly was to take out my Kindle and begin reading a book I was reading and distract me. I was looking for distraction, because in the book was uplifting and it was positive, and so I was distracting myself with something that felt good, so I wasn't dealing with my circumstances. I get to the ticket counter finally, and I put my bag up, and immediately the monitor alarms at me that it was a late check-in and the bag wasn't going to be guaranteed to be on the flight. And the woman looked at me in horror, and she's like, they're going to be closing your gate in 15 minutes. She says, I don't think you're going to make it. Here, let me check and see what other options we have available. And she says, well, the next couple flights are overbooked, so just go do your best to get, and I'm just in my mind going, I want to be on that flight, but then I have to go through security, which of course, in America with the fear-based thing, we've got the full body scans, which I refuse to do, but in this case, I was ready to do it if I needed to, just for time's sake. But it's so funny. It's like people are taking off their shoes, and they don't know that you're supposed to put your shoes, flat on the thing, and I'm just like, I'm about ready to cry because I don't feel like I'm going to get on the flight, and I'm just trying to process these emotions, and I'm not trying to lose it in front of TSA, because who knows what they might do to me if I start to have some kind of hysterical breakdown. And so it could be funny, I could get tasered. So, might not be the first time. Then I get through finally. That when I walked up to the walk-through one, the guy paused at me, and I just looked at him. I was like, my flight is boarding, and he's like, come on through, because I knew he wanted me to go through the full body scan. So I grabbed my stuff, and I'm like trying to reach in and grab my stuff. Don't have time to put my shoes on. Grab everything, and I just sprint to my gate, and I couldn't stop. I just had to keep running and running and running, going, can't stop until I'm told that the plane is gone. I made the flight. I absolutely made the flight, and I couldn't believe it. I'm the last one on the plane, of course, and I'm walking through the aisle. I'm trying to find the one seat in the middle that's left for me, and I'm like looking for the flight attendant in the back to help point it out, because it was a full flight, and she's like, it's a middle seat. And I'm like, well, that's helpful. So anyway, I find the middle seat, and I sit down between two gentlemen, and the gentleman on my left begins to tell me he is Air Force cadet graduate, a recent graduate. He's just ending his 60-day grad leave, and before he reports to flight school, flight training in Oklahoma. And he had to have his car transported via semi because it had an oil leak, and he didn't trust it to drive from Olympia, his hometown, back to Colorado Springs. And it was somewhere in Aurora. And I said, okay, so do you need a ride? And he said, yes, I probably will need a ride. I just need to find out where it's at. I'm like, okay. And although I really just wanted to get home to my family as quickly as possible, it felt important to help this young man out, even though I didn't necessarily buy into his belief that we're always going to have war. I'm still a little hopeful. Maybe call me Pollyanna. I don't know, but I believe that we can change that. And a pleasant young man, and I'd take him, we get there to baggage claim. Of course, my luggage didn't make it. I really thought for sure it would. I'm a powerful manifester. I was like, dang, it didn't come. But the good news is that it was more than likely on the next flight coming from Seattle, which was only an hour away from the time it currently was. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. So it gave me plenty of time to, catch the shuttle with this young man, get to my car, get to his car, which really wasn't too far. It was just maybe about 10 miles round trip, and then get back to the airport and get my luggage. And it all worked out really well, and I got home to my family as quickly as possible. But it is interesting how we have to just keep finding our alignment, because it's like oxygen. It's like when we're breathing, something like that can get our attention and will just take us to a place that we don't want to be. I don't want to be criticizing the country that I live in and the people that I feel are unaware. I don't even want to feel that people are unaware. I want to see us all as creating something really magnificent here. And I know what I want, but easily I can get sidetracked into what I don't want very quickly. And even though I don't watch the news, social media, I have found, can also take me out of alignment. And there are a few people I'm connected with on Facebook that will always uplift and inspire me. And I don't know, maybe I should get rid of everyone else. I don't know, but I do know that I have to be very careful and conscientious of what I'm feeling at all the time and see this information. And it's like, how do we provide hope when everyone's feeling so hopeless? And that's what I want to do, is provide hope, because we came here and it's an amazing playground, and we don't need to spend any time worrying and in fear, because if we do, we're dead anyway. So enjoy your life, get out and play, and have some fun. Love to you all. Bye.